Yo, easy. Silence. Heart on fire. Hey. Oh. Yeah, later I'll be doing. I need to spam down my dungeon tokens as well in a bit. So, plan is to kind of catch back up on everything. I mean, my activity ranking is 0. So, tonight's a big push to get everything back to where it should be after taking time off. I need to set up some builds for the week. There'll be some PvP happening in between as well. Probably a bit of everything, to be fair, tonight. This PvP works fine for most PvE anyway. There's nothing special. Gonna push this to 3.8 tonight, I hope. A couple of things to do. Main one being parchment farming. I will be pushing some arena later as well. Arena is something that I definitely need to carry on pushing. I've not done enough. I think I'm running out of time as well. I'd planned on like making a late push for rank 1, but it's only 2 days and I'm miles off where I need to be. Quest This takes forever all the time. Anyway. God damn it. There we go. 41 keys to dump as well. Oh, 46 after I pick up today's. Hey. Yo. Try and get all the boring stuff out of the way quick. I'm going to be putting a clip together of Ginny's crossbow and dagger as well, showing kind of a different side of how he plays off the sleeps in Flex to get the kills. I just need to pull them all together sometime this week. How many have I got? Jesus. A lot. That's not that one. God damn it. This is why I never get things done. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. why that's not doing this properly then. Right, we should be good to go. Maybe not. Maybe not. It should be better. Do I? Wow, okay. If I distract the tank, they should surely be able to do this. It should be fixed now, Rick. It should be showing you everything. Well, in theory, it should be showing you everything, but I just needed to get a bunch of stuff set up. I think I'm getting shut down a bit too much. Just completely missed that as well. Not happening. Can't play the game if they're going to leave sweeps sitting on me. And then they'll moan that they don't get heals. That should have been a kill easy. Oh, come on. You can't leave a fucking... You can't leave a great sword on a wand, it's not going to end well for you. I think I was ready anyway. I'm not even sure what events I've got for tonight for the guild. Gotta get everything done before then, really. Or before here. Feels right. I only need one. We out. So my morph is control, and the reason it is because the left of my palm just sits right above control because of how my hand is on the keyboard. So I literally just slap my hand on the floor, on the keyboard, and it morphs. My block is on one of the mouse buttons. I've got two mouse buttons on the side of my mouse, so block is on the bottom one and cancel friendly targets on the top. I don't think I could. Can't really play a healer build into this. It's not going to work. Sweaty Sweat's going to out heal me all day long. Pretty much headbutt, yeah. I just slap it. Yeah, control just works. And then I can free up shift to use other binds. feel about killing this this healer. I suppose it depends. I mean, he just wants to get on me all day long. Apparently I don't have to do anything against this team to win. Can nearly one-shot him with just that. I hate that I can't heal in stealth, that's just frustrating. Oh, I thought for sure that I'd one-shot him. No mana. I'm a fucking idiot. In arena at this rank, I don't bother healing. Like, people can complain all they want. I found that the problem with healing is a greatsword's going to sit on you no matter what happens, and then they're going to moan that they don't get heals, or worse, the greatsword's going to sit on them, they're going to drain your mana fully, and they're not going to kill you, and your team's going to moan that they don't get heals then. So first and foremost, I try and help make sure we get kills, and then I heal off the back of it when I can on people, but it's the last of my priority. Just because it's just not worth it at this rate, and Dagger Wand can't keep up with Bow Wand healing. Bow Wand and Staff Wand are just going to out-heal you all day long. The thing is, the quicker things die, the less damage your team takes, so you can patch them up a little bit afterwards, but it's not something you can full heal. The whole premise of this build is if you can get, or this kind of playstyle is if you can get a kill so that they stream in one at a time, and then you can start rotating, locking somebody down with a sleep while you finish off the team, and stop them from ever really regrouping, you're fine. But it's not as strong as it used to be in Arena. You used to be able to run pretty much a really strong healing build, and then still have the damage needed to just destroy people. Like, I could play my PvP build in here and add some heals in and potentially be a bit stronger in terms of healing, but you're trading off mana for that then. I didn't pay attention to what they've got. I mean, it's pretty safe bet they've got a tank or something somewhere. If I get the damage off, he dies. If I don't get the damage off, he doesn't die. And I'm not sure what happened to our team at that time, but... Ah, that's what happened. Shortbow gets ass handed to him. I can't play. Yeah, no you can't, because you've got a greatsword on you. Like, that's all that's going to happen. The tank should be pulling the greatsword off him, but he's not. So all that's happening is he runs in, he dies. And then when you run back into him like that, that's what's going to happen. I need to get to that healer to help get something going. Now, which field boss high value for us in the mid-long run? It's mostly just Bell of Bloodlust. Yeah, pretty much just Bell of Bloodlust. I mean, there's everything else until tier 2, and then tier 2 is when it really comes into its own on stuff we need. This is why I don't heal Arena, by the way. Like, there's no way I can keep this short bow guy alive, even as a full healer. Like, there's just no way, shape, or form that I keep him alive. I mean, when he does less damage than me, it's asking for trouble, isn't it, really? Asking for trouble. And what do I need to do? More of these for a start. Parchments. So I need a ton of parchment to push my skills. So I need to do dungeons, contracts, pretty much everything that's available for me. Anything good? Ooh, 3 pants. That's not nice. Gonna run into an issue where I'm gonna have to dump abyssal contracts, and I need to do everything in time for the events at 10. So at 9, 10. Events at 10. I really hate grinding contracts, but I need to grind contracts, and then I need to do the battle pass contracts as well. Was that a glitch? Yeah, it was. Need to pick up these. I need to do my dungeons there. I need to pick up these and then do them as well. And it's just shit. There's no premium track for some reason this time round. There should be a premium track up here. Precious parchment. They're the epics, aren't they? Fucking hell. Press the right button. Yeah, they are. Okay. Those are bought. No worries, man. Yeah. Anything that helps people. Okay, now we're in a position where we're probably going to be able to finish max in this build and switch to start on the greatsword. Finding a replacement for these boots is going to be one of the big things for me. But we need to max these two next, and this, and this, this, and this. Leave back. Sleep chance work and magic hit chance. My understanding is that hit chance comes before the resist checks. So you've got to hit first, and then it factors in their sleep resist, your sleep chance. At the minute, there's very few people that will be touching sleep resist, sleep chance. Once we get runes in the game, then that opens up avenues for easier pickup of sleep resist, and the same for easier pickup of sleep chance. But until we know what the meta looks like, it's probably not going to be worth doing it. The biggest impact to us is when we get the Karmic Haze change. I can't remember if it's already in. It might already be in now, or if it's not coming until the bow nerf as well. But at the before that hits, if it's hit already, then it doesn't matter. But before that hits, Karmic's got 100% chance instead of its base 80%, which is why we're seeing a lot more sleeps. As for why I went ranged magic evasion instead of melee, when we were playing on Khazar, we were playing into synergy, and we knew what to expect from them, which was a very heavy emphasis on the bow staff playstyle, because that's what will be the meta unless anything dramatic changes in tier 2 and beyond, because it just gets so much stronger once they get access to Bellandir. So magic and range was going to be huge in the first tier. We did kind of regret that to a degree, because now we're seeing a resurgence of greatswords. But ultimately, where I play, I wasn't ever going to be the main focus of greatsword attention, because they should be diving the backline, which is what we do to their backline. Now people have started stationing their greatswords in the backline. It's making it more of a problem for us. I also had no issue in playing non-season arena, so I didn't bother with it. That coupled with the fact that T1 itemization is just easier to get ranged and magic alongside our dodge roll, it was always going to be easier to push that higher than their hit. And we also knew that crossbow spin was going to be a huge issue early on into the game. So we knew that we were going to need to deal with backline diving crossbows or flexes that used crossbows, and we were expecting to take flex on flex fights where we were going to have to win out against their flex team. So we weren't itemized against the main ball, we were itemized very much against what they could possibly throw at us as a flanking or a flex squad, or what they could position outside on delayed pushes. So it was, the itemization choice was based very much on our Korean experience, what we're used to fighting, the guilds that we knew we would be fighting, because we knew who we were against way back before the game even launched. We knew who was coming on our server, so that there was a lot more to it than just there are great swords, we need melee evasion. In tier 2, there's a couple of builds ideas that we're working on, but I think basically 2,700 to 3,000 melee evasion, and still having substantial ranged evasion to deal with bows binds and some of the damage coming through from flash waves. So that's probably something we're going to look at. But also our T2 itemization is more heavily melee focused, because it has melee evasion and ranged evasion. It doesn't have magic. The items that we chose for this build very much have magic and ranged, no melee. So this was always going to be the preference. You have to lean heavily into 2 out of 3 evasions anyway. So this was always going to be kind of the choice. And also from Korean experience, greatsword was negligible. It wasn't played. People just didn't have greatswords. The tanking situation wasn't what we have now, which is greatsword, sword and shield. It was greatsword SNS. It was SNS Wand. So the magic evasion helped us to circumvent that as well. Long story short, we thought we were fighting more ranged bow and magic, so that's why we did it. The battle pass skin. This was like the first skin ever out in Korea. It's got a hood as well. I prefer this one dyed the way it's dyed. I think it looks better, coupled with the weapons as well that I've got. I just think the daggers look cool with it. I don't normally buy skins, but I think it looks cool. It's worth noting as well that if we were going to be playing on NA, we would never have went ranged evasion, because we already knew NA was going to be a melee heavy meta. Because we knew of NA guilds that had all intentions of running just full greatsword, sword and shield. That was actually something floating around. All the builds that I have on YouTube at the minute are the builds that I use in some degree. What I'll say is, and it's kind of counterintuitive, I guess, for somebody that's making videos and guides, but the most important thing you can do is learn what skills are needed in what situations for sword and shield, fucking hell, wand and dagger, because you can change things and interchange things for what feels good for you. Like, lots of people don't like stigma. I like stigma. Oh, so I commented on your video earlier. Good to see you. Yeah, there's lots of people have different preference on certain skills that they use. Like, lots of people get value from smokescreen in large scale. I don't get value from smokescreen in large scale. Lots of people run additional heals. I don't run additional heals because my group doesn't expect me to heal. You'll see when world bosses are up later and we go to world bosses, you'll see that my team, or the section of the flex team that I'm in, is not a team that is expected to survive very long. We are very much an all-in. We get the sleeps, our crossbows get the engage, and we start prepping to run back. And then we regroup. And the idea is, there's method behind that logic as well, because the flex gets its most value when it's unseen. Flex gets its most value when people can't prep for you to come in. So if you're running back with the respawns, you can position yourself with the respawns and transition into the fight with the respawns. So if we can lock out, if say 12 of us can lock out 30 or 40 of their players, which we do regularly, we can continue to lock that same 30 or 40 players out if they insist on running back and doing the same things. So our flex dying is nowhere near as bad as if our main ball dies. Like, we don't give up a push if the main ball dies. That being said, we do want to transition to having healers because we're getting a lot more value out of flex now than we were. Flex used to just be a bomb and respawn. Now we're getting a lot more value because we're getting a lot better at playing extended fights. Makes life a lot easier for us if we get a healer in there as well. But we also can't offer a healer the protection that the main ball can. So to be a flex healer, you've got to have the mindset as well. Food crate and mana recording, okay. Shit. Why is it not? Why is it bugging me? And yes, I definitely have Tevent Wand already. It's my wow factor. Yeah, everyone keeps asking. I keep meaning to do it. I'm gonna sit down at some point and for 10 minutes and put down a bunch of different builds that I use. The problem is that they change every time I play the game. So every day I log in and change my builds. The only one that's stayed consistent is this PvP build. Everything else gets changed. My current week enchants, I've never looked at my current week enchants. We can have a look though. Is it under here? 474. So pretty trash if anybody's running weaken resist. But the thing with resist and the thing with anything chance based like evasion and hit is your weaken resist needs to be higher than my weaken chance for it to even have an effect. The game's coded in very absolute fashion. The same as evasion only works from the second you start to have more evasion than the person's hit rating that's hitting you. Otherwise, evasion's a dead stat. The same for resistances. Resistances are a dead stat if you cannot get higher than their chance to land that stun weaken, whatever it is that you're trying to resist against. Which is why collision resistance is potentially a big one for tornado, because there isn't a lot of scope in bow builds to run collision chance. There's very little scope for them to run collision chance because of itemization. So there is only an argument for running decks after a certain point. So after you get 30 strength for the 750 health, the 40 strength breakpoint on the damage reduction is weak. So if you're stuck between 30 and 50 and you can't push to 50, then there is no point in putting more points in strength, really. Wisdom is my preference because of max mana and cooldown reduction and mana regen, but there is an argument to pick up dexterity for the defensive factor, which is um, the additional evasion chance and also the crit chance. However, our crit chance doesn't skyrocket anyway, and realistically, if you're fighting somebody with evasion, they have 0 endurance, so your crit chance is just fine. But anyone running endurance is where you would need crit. The one passive chance, so this one, you do not need to enhance in any way, shape or form. Unless they release that they have fixed it, you would never need to play into it. And I'll show you why really quickly, or anybody that's seen me play and since I've got the wand will know exactly why. The rate that Tevent applies is ridiculous. The Tevent application rate is through the roof, so having weaken chance is borderline irrelevant. So if I sleep and I spread the sleep, you'll see all the Tevents. That's just Tevent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 7. So 5 out of 7 there have just proc Tevent. And that's just from Karmic spreading a sleep. So there is weaken chance is just not going to be strong for us. What should you give away to realize, especially to help my guild out? How long did it take to get the gear you needed? I had this gear in the first 2 weeks. That was when prices were more expensive and we could sell for more. I think to get this level of gear now, I'm gonna probably, when I've got a bit more time and I'm settled back at work and I'm not sick and stuff, I need to level a new alt anyway because I'm not playing the ones that I'm playing because I don't enjoy them. And I'm going to redo Wand and just see how long it takes me without any outside loosen or anything added from my main character to see what it does. But I made a lot of money early on. Do you crit considering you crit anyways after sleep and Curse doesn't crit? Curse is crit. So the common misconception around curses not critting is because people don't understand how to get curses to crit. So curses will only crit, and they can crit, they will only crit if you have a critical damage increase modifier, either from Shadow Harvest or from this specific thing, because they don't crit in the same way. Now, providing you've got this on, they will crit, and they don't snapshot, so if you do get a critical dot, it'll just be slightly increased over your previous dot damage. It's not as apparent because we don't have huge damage numbers on our dots, so you might see an increase in a dot of about 10 or 15 damage, but that's when it's crit, and it will only do so with a damage modifier. Yeah, so I'll proc Tevent and then I'll show you Curse Explosion off Tevent. I just broke the sleep before I spread it, sorry. Yeah, I'll show you what it does, but basically it equates to about 3,000 damage, give or take. I think it's per section of Curse Explosion, so about 6,000 in all. We'll find out now. I need to do a recording and slow it down properly. I need to do a proper video this week on showing Tevent because there's interesting things that you can do with it as well. I showed it on the last stream, but there's some really interesting stuff you can do with it. So we'll get some Tevent up and we'll Curse Explosion it. There you go. So I haven't tested it with the crit damage mastery. Is there a crit damage percentage mastery? Is there a crit damage percentage mastery? Or am I... Deep Grudge. So I don't think Deep Grudge does. And the reason being is it's an offensive mastery. So it only works when the... So the way that masteries work is defensive masteries will always work. So like on the Dagger we've got... sorry, defensive masteries only work when this is equipped as your main hand, so all evasion only works when it is your main hand. Offensive masteries switch with the weapon, so Deep Grudge won't be active when you use a wand skill. So when you apply your dot, Deep Grudge won't be active, which is why it won't count. However, the passive will, and that's why it works. So that's why you want Harvester or you want Wrathful Edge. That's one of the things that makes it possible. So, I mean, I probably can't even get it to show you a crit dot because it's going to be overshadowed by everything. Oh, there we go. Right, so 310, 39, 310, and then see this one at the back, the 361. That's a crit. 364, 363. That's a crit dot. Or it should have been a crit dot. It should have been a crit on a double stack. So see this one. This one's a single dot. This one's a single dot. This one's 155. This one's 183. So if that was 300, it would have been a heavy, but that's 180 because it's a crit. But there is no indicator to show you that this is a crit, and that's why people think that dots can't crit. But that there was a crit dot, and that's one of the things that we spent hours upon hours upon hours testing, removing items, seeing what triggered it, and the conclusion that we came to, unless someone in the dev team or anyone else can correct us, is that Wrathful Edge is what's allowing this to happen. And what it's doing is it's rather than it just rolling max damage dot, it's rolling a percentage increase dot, and that's what's causing that to happen. One more thing before I go back to grinding is this cool interaction with Rotten Swamp and Tevent. So if you apply Rotten Swamp and it applies Tevent and you clear the dot, it will reapply it or have a chance to reapply it. So Rotten Swamp, once you've got Tevent, becomes huge because effectively what you can do is mirror having the retention of dark explosion, but without needing it. So you don't reduce your explosion damage, but what you do is you still get that huge chance to reapply the curses afterwards. So it will always reapply the magic circle curse straight away, but it will also have that extra chance then to reapply Tevent. So we clear the Tevent off, and then there's a chance to reapply it. And this interaction is huge for holding choke points. And this is one of the reasons why Tevent will stay with you forever. Unless they add something that competes with it, Tevent will stay with us for the longest time. There aren't really any arguments to use anything else. Sorry, struggling farming Lucen. Any advice? Lately I've been farming in dungeons for blue belts and selling traits, but it's like, I don't think there is anything massive you can do anymore for selling Lucen. If you're on full launch servers and not early access servers, then you've got the short end of the straw as well because prices are lower. Now the annoying thing is, on my alts, a lot of my money came from, don't think they're called Harvester anymore, are they? Back to Harvester. These gloves. And what I could do on my alts, I had an NA alt and I had an EU alt at launch, and I made them both bow wand as a healer, and I got them both up to about 2,300. And all I used to do was go to party board, go to Temple of Slaughter, and type boss. Tons and tons of groups needed healers, always needed a healer, and I had the benefit of I could do all of the mechanics. I can literally solo do the Temple of Slaughter mechanic. I can do the fly into the top. I can also then activate the pit myself. So because I could do that, these groups were failing because of mechanics. All I needed to do was say, right, the tank needs to take 2 hits, I will cleanse it, and then they can take the third. Or they can take 2 hits and move. And then I used to solo the mechanic myself, and I farmed Harvester gloves back then when they were selling for like 4 or 5k, and I lithographed them on my alts and sold them. And that's how I made a lot of money. Now there's very little scope to do that kind of thing. One of your best bets is spamming random dungeons and using your tokens if you don't need them for gear to make the rings, to sell the rings. It's an option. I haven't made much Lucent in the last couple of weeks because I haven't bothered. The other thing is to make sure that you do your arena games. You want to get these arena seals that they don't show you what they are. You need 9 of them, and you turn them in for an accessory, and you hope that you get like skill damage boost or something. You sell that. The next big influx of Lucent's going to come from being prepped for tier 2 and being able to sell tier 2 items because you don't need them, or tier 2 traits because you don't need them. The wolf set isn't worth using now. Parts of the wolf set are worth using because of the itemization on them. So the wolf legs and the wolf chest are pretty good. That would get you the passive just by merit of using both of them for the magic evasion, but the actual damage boost is not worth using. It doesn't scale for us. Bow Wand is still the best healer, and until we get the change in career, it will undeniably be the best healer in the game. And even then, the best wand bows should outperform the other healers still. But Staff Wand will be a better PvP healer for the most part. Because the only reason that one bow is so strong is because of its ability to stack the hot and also swift heal, and the fact it's got the passive that when you apply weaken, prevents, or doesn't prevent, but gives them a huge shield. That shield's still going to be effective at 30%. It's going to stop them being one shot from a lot of classes. Like, I'm still not going to be able to sleep combo and one shot a bow wand. I don't think I will, but we'll be able to test it. It's still going to be a stupidly strong healer, and it's still going to be really strong. I just don't think it's going to compete with with Staff Wand, because Staff Wand brings a bit more to the table for the party as a whole. As for do we play with healers, I don't personally play with a healer at the moment. We need a healer for our group. We haven't found one that's consistent, reliable, and can play the flex mindset. It's playing in flex is a difficult thing to do because you've got to be the right kind of person for it. If you watched the Tevent fight that we posted, flex is very much on the ball. We rotate fast. You need to be in the right place at the right time. You need to follow the calls unconditionally. There's literally 1 second you're called to go to 5, then you're called to go to 3, to 4. You need to know where your pings are, and you need to not get upset by the fact that you will die. You won't get a lot of kills. That's not what your job's there for. Your job there is to support the group. But if I could have a healer, that would be great. One of our main, or our flex shot caller, Spree, changed to Staff Wand to heal the main flex group. Or the most active flex group, should I say. Not really the main, but the most active. Speed does affect one skills, attack speed. Which passive are you talking about? The one from Moonlight? When you in the gap in between Moonlight? If you mean that one, yes, it affects Staff. Affects Wand. Or it should do, from my limited testing. I play as if it does anyway. That might be a coping mechanism for me. I've very quickly gone off the idea of attack speed as I've got more and more geared. Although now that I've switched back to Magic Circle, I'm very quickly missing having more attack speed. Because it does reduce the cast time on Magic Circle. And that's currently my biggest blocker to full comboing people, is the cast time to get that skill off. Pretty sure we've got an event coming up. Yeah, Dark Destroyers. Do you mean the mastery is in the actual weapon mastery? Like as in inside the dagger? Because if that's what you mean, then no, that doesn't affect. It doesn't affect Wand at all, no. Offensive masteries only affect the weapon that's pulled out. I'm feeling a bit better since I've spent the last 2 days away, but I'm still not great. I don't know what it is. It needs to go, whatever it is. Some kind of cold. But I'm a man, so if I have a cold, it's the most deathly thing in the world to us. It's literally like I'm on death's door. Are we going to this event? So an interesting thing happened before on Talus that I came home to, and it was pretty hilarious. So I came home and I logged on for the event. logged on late to find out that multiple of the other PvP guilds on the server have decided to put their differences aside and alliance against us. So I literally spawned in at Akidu Valley, flew down to see Nixx and Nixx being wiped on the bridge for the first time in weeks, and was like, right, this is a real fight now, and it was awesome. So I'm hoping that a lot of this continues and that the siege we get is going to be huge, because they've got some really good players on the server, like really good players, and we've got nothing but respect for the guilds on the server. They've done a great job. It's not easy to contest a guild like Nixx with the Korean experience coming onto the server. They got let down by the Requiem guys and the Hafen, whatever the German guild name was, using it as a bait and switch option to leave. Restream, really? I didn't realise Restream's got this thing on top of my stream. Or maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's just on me it shows it. It's weird. Not paying for it. I want to burn some points. It is good news, yeah. I mean, we're constantly talking with other guilds on other servers and seeing kind of what we want to do, because ultimately we play for PvP. We don't play to stomp guilds. We're not making a big alliance to stomp guilds. Like, that's why we have a 2-guild alliance. Like, we don't have a full alliance. We dropped the alliance with our other guild Nixx this week so that we could fight them on the Riftstone, and so that we could fight them at some events, because it's good for us, it's good practice, it's good for the guild as a whole. So we're talking to other guilds. The only problem that we've got is that we talked to the guilds on this server before we came here. We talked to them about moving over, and like this is what we want to do. We're coming over as a 2-guild alliance. We're not looking to zerg the server or anything like that. We just want a PvP. We want to fight guilds. We want to fight alliances. We want a PvP. Everybody seemed okay about it. They were all fine, but then people literally, we moved over. We brought Orca over to fight against Orca, not to alliance with them. And Orca are a very good BDO guild. We came over, and the guilds that we'd talked to left the server that very night. The day before server cut-offs, they left the server. They had it free farming here. They were like, Requiem had multiple guilds and were free farming the server. So we figured like they wanted the competition, but it turns out they just wanted the free farm. So they ditched. They went to Khazar. They got farmed on Khazar, and they've ditched Khazar now and gone to another server to do exactly the same thing. It sucks. Melee evasion, ranged endurance. Well, no, I think you kind of shoot yourself. I mean, I wouldn't go endurance on a class that has an evasion boosting passive. It just doesn't feel right to play evasion on a dagger passive. I think melee evasion is more than viable. Melee evasion with the amount of greatswords around is very, very good, because the reality is that melee stuns are the only thing that can really prevent you, unless somebody wants to burn their freeze on you. Melee stuns the only thing that's going to shut you down. And that's one of the things that we realised a little bit later, is that going into tier 2, that's probably all we need to do, because we can out-heal the damage for a short period of time. We can out-heal the damage from bows and from staff. We can even out-heal the damage from greatsword. What we can't do is heal through the CC. And that is the only hard CC that allows you to be damaged for a prolonged period of time. We just didn't expect to fight that many of them, because that's not the meta in Korea, and that's not what we'd experienced before. Like, I don't have any regrets running this build. I think this build is incredibly strong in large scale, and when it comes to siege, this build is going to pay for itself when I get my siege payout, depending on how much we manage to win, lose. If we keep it, we might not even keep it. We might lose the castle because the server's shaping up that way that there's a genuine threat to us now. One dagger, 353. I've changed my build to run melee evasion mostly. Yeah. I think as long as you hard commit to melee evasion, I would say pick up ranged evasion as a secondary, because you still need to deal with these fucking crossbows. And the problem is that once bow gets the nerf to the shield, the crossbows are going to be putting poison back in their build, and their damage is going to be a lot higher than it currently is. The reason that crossbows are a bit more manageable at the minute is because of people using evasions like us, but also they're able to be shut down because they don't have their shred. They don't have the shred that they will have with poison, allowing them to also proc a defensive shred. That's going to be huge. Crossbows are going to be just as strong as they were in the first couple of weeks, again, before tier 2 happens. So make sure you don't neglect ranged alongside your melee. Thankfully, ranged evasion is easier to hit because of what we've got as the passive. Makes ranged evasion easy. Cheers, Icebox. Appreciate it. And I am having a good day now. I'm home and I can chill. Getting lucky on these parchments finally. 1161. That's the problem. If you go melee evasion in tier 1, you struggle to itemize it. That's the hard thing. That's why we never really even looked at it. We knew that we were going to be fighting bows and staffs, and we knew that the itemization was bad. But also what happened was when we hit early access, I can't block straight after that. When we hit early access, a lot of the items were hidden behind milestones, and it was me. I think it was me and maybe Freshy that realised pretty early on that they were hidden behind milestones. Everybody had already changed their builds because it looked like half the items weren't available to us. But we managed to find out that they were, so we redid our builds in the first week, and we'd already knew what we were expecting to fight against, so we didn't even look at melee evasion. We've looked at it since, and it's really not great for tier 1. It's as bad as we thought it was going to be originally, but originally we also had more options available than we do. So I think you give up too much to go melee evasion. I don't think it's a good idea. People are making it work. I think people are taking it a little bit too much of an absolute when I say not to do it. But I know that like staff has a good time going melee evasion because they have a benefit or a buff to it. We just have a buff that favors going range magic. It just favors going range magic, and the itemization is just better for us. It's just easier to itemize this way. Been using your questlog build. Where do you see the skill build there? Or just small scale? The skill build that I have on questlog is the build I use for large scale and small scale PvP when I'm playing with the guild. That is the same build no matter what. I've yet to find a build that brings the same consistency. It's the one I'm using now. That brings the same consistency. I think making a change before we get an announcement on the roadmap is a potential misstep, because any investment at this point in time beyond progressing what you've currently got leaves you potentially short. I think what we're going to get is a delayed roadmap, and I don't see us having tier 2 until next year, or well into next year, like February. But there is the chance that they give us 2-star dungeons without tier 2. If we get 2-star dungeons without tier 2, then we're going to get access to Shadow Harvester boots and stuff a lot sooner, which means that you probably are still better going heavy magic range evasion at that point, and just avoiding greatswords like they're the plague, which they are. So you got my stream on audio only. This is why I stream on Twitch as well, just in case somebody actually wants to watch on Twitch, but nobody ever does. How do I feel about PvP if I'm not sleep bombing? I think if I'm not playing to sleep bomb, I don't know. In events, I quite enjoy it because the way that I play the build is I get 2 dots up, I ground somebody, and I curse explosion, and a lot of the times that is enough to one-shot somebody, and it feels similar to playing greatsword, and it feels like it kills quicker than greatsword in that respect. But then I'm useless in like 1v3, 1v4 scenarios, which is why I play this build instead in a lot of PvP, because at least then I can be a pain in the arse and dance around, and when a sleep bomb opportunity does present itself, I can get it, whereas the other build is very single target focused. And it's the build I'm messing around with at the minute for arena and stuff, but it's so single target focused that it gives up a lot of what makes this build fun, and that's why I'm picking up a greatsword to mess about with the idea of greatsword wand as kind of a mess around. I'm going to kill groups of people solo kind of build. My thoughts on one Dagger in tier 2. Yeah, I stream on YouTube. I'm trying to stream on Twitch as well, but my Twitch has historically been terrible. Like I've never got view. I think it's incredibly hard to get a viewer base on Twitch. Always has been. Yeah, that won't work. I've got absolutely nothing set up. I'll type it. Wait a sec. I'll get it for you in a second because it never shows up. I need to set bots up on there purely so people can find it. I'm gonna die, aren't I? There we go. Like, what do you think? Boosting gear for one Dagger in tier 2. In tier 2, we have our biggest power spike, like bigger than Tevent, like monumentally big, and it comes from purely from a 2-set bonus and our ability to then potentially mix in multiple 2-set bonuses. But we get a flat 20% damage boost to dot damage, which transfers into Curse Explosion as well. So it's significant. And we can get that well, I say we can get... I can get that relatively easily. Other people may struggle, because the Sacred set is no longer freely farmable. It is gated pretty heavily behind world bosses and stuff. You have arrived. I haven't, not fully. You probably get mixed information because nobody can give you that information for sure. So I won't try and tell you that I know the answer, because I don't. What I will say though is that sleep resist and sleep chance having its own stat would lend me to believe that it isn't a weaken that is considered on the weaken chance table. So I wouldn't consider weaken chance to affect sleep chance. Theoretically it should, based on the wording of the tooltip, but the tooltip on Karmic Haze has also always said up to 3 nearby targets, and it has never only spread to 3 targets. It has always spread to everybody in age. No, in tier 2 I'm not switching to one greatsword. I'm picking up a greatsword now because I want to mess around with the idea of greatsword synergy with wand synergy. Yeah, the Vanquisher set. So I'm going to mess around with greatsword. Well, for a start, I want to troll Cammy, and I find it hilarious to sleep people into grounding people into greatsword AOE damage and sleep and curse explosion, because I think it's just crazy. There's not many people playing it, and it's got the potential to be really fun to mess about with. I'm not expecting it to be as good. Yeah, that would lend what I would feel it would be the right one. It would be hit, weaken, sleep, or hit, weaken / sleep, depending on on how it happens. When you say, is it expensive to have a third weapon? It's as expensive as you need it to be. I mean, once you've maxed all your skills out, what else are you doing with parchment and skill books? You're not doing anything, so you might as well level up another weapon. I mean, logically speaking, it would make more sense for me to pick up a staff, which I was originally doing. So then I've got staff dagger, staff wand, wand dagger as viable options. But yeah, I never do the easy thing. I think it's as easy or as difficult as you want to make the game. I could just hear a voice from upstairs. I thought my son was awake, but it's not. I thought she was talking to herself and going crazy, but she's not. Where were we up to? You have a problem with sleep. What problem do you have with sleep? You're not getting enough of it. Melee ranged over ranged magic for bow dagger. If you go melee ranged, you're missing out on half of your passive roll dodge, but I'm not familiar on bow dagger myself. I think bow dagger tends to go full on to magic ranged or melee ranged. What about weapon mastery? Weapon mastery is where you give up a fair bit, but to put it into perspective, I played staff for about an hour and a half, and my staff mastery is at like level 5. There you go. Masteries are good, but they're not game breaking. They're nice supplemental additions, but they're not game breaking. And you level up your mastery pretty quick early on. Like leveling up the mastery is not a problem. I like attack speed purely because it reduces the cast time on this, or it did reduce the cast time on this. I think with Rotten Swamp it doesn't. Basically, attack speed affects your micro animations or any skill animation, so it makes anything faster, which does include the curse explosion. So I like attack speed, but going those gloves over something else is not going to make or break anything. You can pick up other options if you need them. For example, I'm thinking of transitioning. Well, if I get the Harvester boots, if I get lucky enough to get the Harvester boots from that stupid new box that you can drop, or if the guild gives them me, or if they drop in price low enough, I will pick up Harvester gloves and also Harvester boots to finish the set. The build always had Harvester boots in it. They were always the best boots that we could get. They've just become too hard to get. But there was these gloves. These gloves are the ones that I'm still debating transitioning back to if I can find room in my build. Just because of the extra hit chance. I think if I'll fuck about with this build while nobody's looking on it. I think fuck, I think I screwed the build up for everybody and messed about with some items. I'll put it back to how it was. It was that, and it was Executioner with attack speed. Right, it was that. Is that right? Is that what I'm using? No, I'm using 7032. Something's off on the build anyway. Let me have a look at what I was going to do. Clone this one. Move it up to 2 on build with Tevent Am I on the right build or am I on the wrong one? Sorry, I'm on my GG at the minute and I can't tell if I'm on the right fucking thing. 2 on build with Tevent. 2 on build with Tevent. Up. I've messed up the order of everything on here. I'll reread that in a second. Sorry, I'm fucking about with this. Tevent rename to. I'll make it a variant on 2 on build with Tevent. I've changed it to a variant. I would run that with mana regen. I think I'd switch this out for Phantom Wolf, and I think that would still allow me to hit 60. 60-40, I'd probably run that. So I'll post it here. At the minute I'm 70 perception, but on that build I've just added a Tevent variant to the GG. It's T1 build variant with Tevent, and basically that's what I would potentially transition to at the moment. I think it should give more hit overall. Where's the hit chance? Magic hit gives 1009, so I guess it doesn't even give that much more, to be fair, over the 70 perception one, but it allows you to get the 40 strength. If you were to drop the 40 strength, I think you can still hit the 70 perception, but you lose out. No, you can't. You lose out on too many points. If you pick up Phantom Wolf Tunic. I think this is one of the issues that I had originally, was that I couldn't find a comfortable transition. You'd need to keep the... You'd lose out on the 30 strength to pick it up, but what you'd get is an extra 119 hit. So yeah, it never really worked anyway, essentially that was it. I couldn't find a way for it to work properly. I don't have 700 hit. I have 1007 without food buff. Or do I have a food buff on? Yeah, without food buff I have 1007. And I also don't try and hit evasion targets with my sleep. Nah, it won't make it worse. Difference between 60 and 70 perception isn't that bad. Fuck, are we going to this? Are we going to guild or not? Gathering inventory, for dungeons. Some points. No. I don't know what we're doing or if we're going. I haven't checked Discord either. Fuck knows. I don't think there's anything that we could do that would make Tevent worse in any way, shape or form, other than not using it. If we decided to unequip it and put the Aquarius back on, that would make it worse. But gear-wise, there is very little that we can do to make it worse. It's too strong in its own right. Thankfully, we're not a class that Tevent would ever need nerfing for. Yeah, people are saying that, but I have no additional weaken chance, and I've shown time and time again how it procs at around a 70% chance for me. You got to think as well, the beauty of it is, when I start a fight, so when I sleep somebody, we've got 1 chance for Tevent to activate, we've got up to 2 chances on the curse to activate, we've got the 3rd chance with this to activate, and then when we spread with Karmic, it counts Tevent, which is already a dot anyway and spreads it, but the other two would count as activations no matter what. Again, 15% is not the rate of Tevent. I can't stress this enough. It is not a 15% chance. I'll show you again. I'll show you again just for peace of mind. But in terms of curse explosion damage, it adds the same as, or almost the same as, 3 stacks of touch. So it's 1 Tevent curse is the same as getting 3 stacks of touch to spare on somebody. I won't put a damage curse on this at all. I will sleep it, I will spread it, and Tevent will land up on most of these targets. That is not a 15% chance. I would go Harvester gloves for the range and Harvester boots, and I'd keep the legs as Phantom. I am going to do a video that explains to people why Tevent isn't 15%, or if it is 15%, it's the weirdest 15% I've ever come across in my life. Oh, and it heavies as well, like any other dot. And it crits like any other dot, providing that you've got the requirements for dots to crit. So the curse explosion damage is just nutty from it. Thank you for joining my Tevent TED Talk. Now that you know that information, tell your guild that it's a really low proc chance and you want it just to test some things, and then hopefully they'll give it to you. Or they might just sell it on the marketplace if you tell them that shit. Do I really need to do contracts, or can I stop now on board? I can stop now, that's fine. Is it going to be night? Is it going to be night time? We're doing guild event. Fuck it. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I haven't checked that build actually for what it is with Harvester boots, but I think it's higher hit with Harvester, isn't it? Oh, that was it. I put a Harvester build together with Belt of Bloodlust, and we can get up to the 50 strength breakpoint easy as well. And it gives us lower hit off the bat, I think. No, it gives us similar hit. But if we want, we can't get to the 70 perception without dropping the strength, which is the problem. But we could run 30 strength with Harvest the set and boost the wisdom and have higher hit chance again as well. I guess we'd probably run that. But yeah, there is a way that you can, if you can sacrifice the hit from somewhere, you can benefit from the other stuff. Arena's a good call. Until the event. Which event's it going to be? Dark Destroyers. Yeah, we'll go place up ready for the guild event, and then do an arena game or two while we wait. I think the problem with the legs was one of the problems being how hard they are to get. The other one being the traits, if I remember right. Oh no, maybe it's not then. Maybe it must have. Maybe the reason I didn't want them was because of the issue I had with getting them. But now they're apparently getting easier and easier to get. We revisit, because the whole point behind this build was essentially that you wouldn't have you wouldn't have access to these things easy. Because the Harvester gloves giving Dex sucks. That really sucks. Um, but if we had Harvester legs, Harvester boots as an option, and we went magic evasion, we went movement speed on the boots, and on the legs we went mana regen, we're still not giving too much up. And we dropped the strength down to pick up the maybe the 70 perception breakpoint again. Pumped wisdom to 39. We used the grips of the resistance. Or do we? I think we'd still want. I think we'd still want Harvester gloves, you know. We lose out on the hit from like gloves of the resistance, but we benefit from the attack range. And it would take us up to a 20-meter range, which I'm currently at 19. Or is there another option for gloves that gives us a strength variant that we could do something else? One dagger after getting arch weapon is just stronger than it was. Like, undeniably stronger than it was. Smite? Like, undeniably. Let me think about this. Let's cook something up. What could we have as an option? I mean, what are Executioner gloves bringing? They're bringing 4 perception. We could potentially go Field General for the 6 perception, but we'd give up some evasion. Give up on some magic evasion. But would it give... It would give max health. Would it give us the ability to push to a strength breakpoint we can't otherwise get? Oh. 0.5 stat point off. Otherwise that would have been an option. I guess it would allow us to go 60-50 with a chunk of wisdom. That's an option. It's an expensive option, but it's an option. I'm always at max range before an engage starts. I'm at max range until I'm in melee range, and that changes within a split second. I don't play main ball, so my playstyle is completely different to what other people experience, I'd imagine. For some reason, someone in their infinite wisdom trusts me to run around and make calls. I mean, I don't know why anybody in their right mind would trust me to do that shit. Back to this. So 6 perception allows us to go 50 strength, 60 perception and 42 wisdom, which is a very healthy stat balance. I'll save that as the variant. That's a very healthy stat balance. We might even be able to go that with Executioner gloves instead, to keep the magic evasion and still... Yeah, we could just do it that way and still keep 40 in wisdom. Sacrifices on hit rate, and that's the only problem. Oh, that's with Phantom Wolf Tunic, that's why. Maybe it's not an option. What's the heroic chest? Where's the heroic chest gone? The garb is needed. That's 4 perception. Yeah, I mean, that's an option. There's a couple of options. Let's fucking have a look. I mean, you're just asking for trouble if you're running around like that. You're starting to annoy me really fast. You're dead. Oh, I feel really terrible. My son was just crying and I had to go and lose the game for my team. Ah, we won. Oh, okay, I don't feel so bad anymore. I had 0 impact on the game except for 1 kill at the end. Right, killed the Dark Destroyers. Fucking hell. I think 1.5k hit, if you can get it, is good. It's just you're probably giving something up somewhere to get it. How's he not dead? I mean, he is. Fucking amateur hour. See you later, Felicia. I didn't stop, I'm just really bad at remembering to do them. Oh no, I've been great sorted. Wonder if that'll help me survive. Nope. Sign me up for the we have two healers news. Let's go wreak some havoc. The boys. So I could play this as DPS, but I think I will play it as this PvP build. Ooh, Alucard. I have a bone to pick with you. So does Mish, apparently. Oh, this is just mean. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hi. No, I need fucking stealth. Oh no, they've got me now. Naya's just saved my fucking ass. Oh, I missed the sleep, that sucks. I'm going to be great sworded. I had the perfect sleep angle. They are saving me. Return the favour. Good job on voice with these guys. I'll have to mute the music and stuff. Group a win. Thanks for the saves, Nez. I'm streaming but sound's turned off so you guys can shout. If I can catch up, I can sleep it. I'm going around the side of these guys if I can. They're too spread for me to sleep. On the right, as you keep going ahead. Got a sleep on them up here? No, not many. They're heading towards the south of us. Well, in front of us. I think they're split. They're past the respawn. There's a ton of them up this ramp. I can sleep if I can get to them. I might be able to get a sleep on this. Got a sleep. They were here until Sherwin turned up. Literally off the back of that sleep, I started to bomb them and they died. These guys are all heading towards teleport again now. I'm coming. Sorry, I just sleep bombed those guys. Oh, there's a ton of them. And hmm, I got grey side on me. Thank you. They're kind of. Oh, heading towards Tevent, towards Adentasaur Riftstone. There's a guy with 81. Guy with a couple of guys with 81. Yeah, we got him. Coming back. Never gonna admit it. Going in. Never close enough to sleep. Ooh, big group. Nice sleep. Followed it up. Second sleep. Oh, you make me all feel so happy. Mute my Discord so I can talk to stream a little bit. It's a bit fucked right now that every time you have a solid fight, it turns into 100 versus 30 or 40. There's 41 of us online, dude. Don't start playing that it's 200 people. There's fucking 40 of us online. Like, I get that you feel like you might be outnumbered, but the reality is you just get rolled. Like, you can complain about it all you want. We don't zerg shit. Bring your guild. As for half of us rock, or most of us rocking boss weapons, there's 6 boss weapons in the guild. Like, you're exaggerating. Massively exaggerating. I'm going bald, Scotty. I'm going bald real quick. Taking everything out of context. You literally just whined that it's 100 versus 30 or 40 with everybody with boss weapons. Tell me how I take things out of context. How is that not taking things out of context? You're crying because you're getting rolled. It's that simple. Like, that's all it is, mate. The reality is we're better than you. It's that simple. Like, we had an amazing fight at Akidu Valley where we got wiped by the server earlier because people turned up and worked together and they wiped the shit out of us, and it was an awesome fight. Everybody likes to get butthurt and then cry when they get called out with facts. The facts are there's 4 boss weapons in the guild and there's 41 of us online. I'll catch up on questions after the event as well, guys. I'll go back through the chat log in a minute and
Instead of killing them, they're just giga
Good.
annoyed.
Are you not gonna be ignored or something?
No, 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 they don't ignore us because we sleep them.
You need to hold that to that Nick.
right, let me catch up on things that were said during the event. Event went well, it was fun. Yeah, watching somebody playing it live is a lot easier. Right, now I can catch up properly and not just be fucking ranty. If you're still there, Max, it was good. The fight earlier was great. You guys fucking did a good job. I also mentioned you guys in Tevent. We had to actively rotate to kill your guys in Tevent, which is when you get the attention of Nixx's flex because we need to come and wipe you, it's a big deal. People just need to work together on this server, that's all. I was thinking of selling the Bell and Dis staff we dropped and distributing the profit to the ones present at the event. I wouldn't. I don't see why you would sell the staff to distribute the profit, because I don't feel there is enough profit. Unless, say there was 10 of you there and you all stand to gain 10,000 lucent, yeah, fair enough. If you need that lucent to progress your gear, 100% I can see that. If you've got a 70-man guild and you're splitting that Tevent weapon between everybody, you're not going to make any meaningful progress. There is no point. I just don't see it. I think it's more beneficial to you, especially Bellandir staff that can have a huge impact on AoE for fights. Increased damage, does this affect sleep bombs? Yeah, the additional max damage affects sleep bombs in a positive way. The only reason that we don't run it is because the unspecialized Blessed Barrier is fucking huge for defensive. If I get Blessed Barrier up, I don't die to a Greatsword. If I don't get Blessed Barrier up, I die to a Greatsword. 100%. It was 45 people. And how much is a Bellandir staff for you guys? Because I don't even think they're that expensive at the minute. 70,000 for us, which is what? 70,000 by 45 of you is 1,500 before tax. You're looking at getting about 1,000 lucent, if that. Yeah, attack speed doesn't. Attack speed's hit or miss. Like, it was bigger earlier on than it is now. The gloves I've always said are interchangeable. Like, nobody's gonna miss out on having them versus not having them. That's why they're also a piece that gets changed for Shadow Harvester for 2 set. Yeah, I wouldn't. If your guild is struggling for 1,000 lucent per person, I think you're struggling for more than the Bellandir staff. If you've got somebody on your roster that can use that staff, let them use it. You will benefit more, because the Bellandir staff will help a lot. Trial, good fight, but that was one of the first Dark Destroyers we've had where we've actually had a fight. I think one thing I muted the guild Discord while we were doing that, so I don't think you guys could hear it. But the reason that we were able to do what we did is we had people scouting areas. We knew where everybody was at all times. That's why we rotated the way that we did and how we did. But yeah, it was a good fight. I liked it. I liked the Akidu Valley one earlier. I thought the Akidu Valley one was fucking huge. I got back from Wales. I drove back. I'd been in the car for 3 hours. I jumped on, and it was the most fun PvP I've had in weeks. These guys are good. Flex loves fighting against you guys. Like, really loves fighting against you guys. It's a good fight every time. Goblin Ventures and Zenile are 2 guilds that I know, me personally, as somebody that runs with Flex with spraying the guys, are guilds that we have a lot of fun fighting. Decapy as well. When Decapy turn up, they give us a genuinely good fight. Other guilds are starting to band together and do work as well. I think at Siege it's going to be really fucking interesting. So with the attack speed, I mean, it's hard to show with the cast bar being so shit. 1.5, I want to say. just below 1.4. It did shade. It used to have more of a dramatic impact. I'm not sure whether they've done something to it, because my magic circle used to be. Yeah, good time to join, dude. If you'd have joined 5 minutes earlier, you'd have heard me ranting instead. But what was I going to say? This used to be when I put attack speed into the build, it brought this down to 0.9 second, to just below 1 second, basically, is what it did. And it had a huge impact, because what that meant as well is this stutter animation that happens. Let's fucking go down here. The reason that we put attack speed in was specifically for this stutter animation. Because I hate it. Because this one, you can cancel the animation with movement, and it's annoying. But yeah, it brought it down by a good half a second nearly. But now that I've started testing it again, because everyone keeps asking me about it, now I've started testing it again, nobody else can see the same benefit because it's not doing what it was doing, which is kind of annoying. Because the whole point of it was to get this as quick as possible, so that the combo was sleep, and then this delay that you have was as minimal as possible. Because that delay is where you get pulled out of your combo. That's the huge significant gap to that combo. And the problem was that with stealth, I did it in my video, this CC immunity window. So when you've got Decay and Touch, you can benefit from being in stealth and still being CC immune while you get Decay and Touch up through all of that period of time. You don't have the same luxury with this, because what will happen is just as you get to the end of this cast, you will come out of CC immunity, and it can basically effectively be cancelled. Because the whole problem with the Decay and Touch combo is you need to hit... I'll do this real quick. So with Decay and Touch, your combo has to be Curse, Decay and Touch, Sleep, Spread. You can't spread until the Decay and Touch is up, because if you spread before the Decay and Touch is up, you don't get the damage spread. So your Curse Explosion's weaker. You're not going to have the same amount of damage. This has always been better for coverage, because if you miss your Decay and Touch, you miss on all of that spread damage. Whereas with Magic Circle, if you miss 1 or 2 targets, you still likely hit the majority of them. So you're still getting the dot up no matter what. But also, your combo now turns into dot, sleep, spread, and then your damage, which means that they're all CC'd while you're trying to get the additional damage off. So if you can see that they're all CC'd and not breaking, you can actually get Corrupted Circle into another touch on a couple of people, or at least 3 people, before you explode, which means that touch is now full duration as well as circle is very near full duration. So this has always been the better combo. The only problem is, and this is why we're looking at melee evasion, you will get shut down 9 times out of 10. But if you can manage to get it off, and you can time it all perfectly, then it's still best if you can get... In an ideal world, what you want to do is get the first dot off, then go into stealth, then sleep, spread. Now you're still in stealth, but you come out for the last second. And that's the issue that we've got, is you come out for that last second. And that's where the argument for dropping Stigma and picking up Smokescreen comes in. We'll do it again in a second. Because what you can effectively do is be CC immune to start with into Smokescreen, but again, melee's still going to be the issue. Melee will still be the issue no matter what happens. And the more people get used to this kind of playstyle, the more they're going to play into it and play against it. And guilds turning around and killing our flex is a genuine issue. But yeah, essentially, if we're playing with Smokescreen, then you'd be able to look at getting into stealth. Your first dot would be stealth protected for the 3 seconds. You'd sleep, spread, Smokescreen into this. You're still protected, get your second dot up, and it buys you some freedom. And that Smokescreen is going to buy you the freedom to potentially get that damage off. So there's an argument to be made for that. And if Smokescreen wasn't so up in the air whether it works 90% of the time or not, it would probably be undeniably the main take on this line. And the good thing is that when we swap to melee evasion, in tier 2, when it gets strong, all we need to do is heal through the magic and range damage. And we're going to be able to heal through the magic and range damage, especially when we put Smokescreen back into the build. And we slot Smokescreen to deal with the splash damage that we're currently using evasion for. So it's going to make getting the combo off a whole lot easier. But you've seen, like, if you were watching that PvP, then you've seen that I don't have too many issues getting the combo off when I'm set up properly. And positionally speaking, if I'm in the right position at the right time, I can get it off. But there's a lot to be said for having, like, Nairs and the tanks watching me while I do it. Like, there were a couple of times in there where a greatsword got on me. So a greatsword got on me and it got instantly peeled. Yeah, so the thing with Smokescreen is we can take always evades melee projectiles, which is great and all. The only problem is that a lot of melee CC isn't a projectile. No, you wouldn't go triple evasion in tier 2. You'd really double down on the 2 evasions you want. So I've got a build that works out versus Abyss Greatsword to have about a 50% evade chance. Or just shy of 50, probably about 47% evasion chance. You really want to double down into the evasions because hit doesn't scale that massively in tier 2. It does scale, but not as massively as other things do. Ranged evasion is super good against crossbows as well, which is one of the reasons why ranged evasion is so prevalent across most builds. Like you very rarely go melee evasion, magic evasion. Melee range is the go-to on a lot of itemization as well. But crossbows suffer the most against evasion targets because of their damage being built up of so many little damage hits rather than great big hits. Like if you've got a 50% chance to avoid the stun on greatsword because of melee evasion and they stun you, you're probably up shit creek anyway at that point. No, that cyclone has fucked me so hard. Yeah, stop your moaning. Playing this build really bad in here today. well. Like, can you hit the person that needs to be hit? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. How the hell is he not dead? I'm dead. I'll play this shit. I deserve to lose this 100%. Oh my god, I can't target because I'm bad. I deserve to lose that 100%. I played that terribly. Watch the crying about heals. Heal me, heal me, heal me. Yeah, I did fuck all that game. Fuck all. Something fell off as well though, to be fair. Yeah. The problem is, like, that bow shield is so oppressive. I do need to do that fucking video on feud targeting. I don't want to go to Juniboat. Can't be asked. That's how we like it. Too dangerous to take off feud is what we like. Yeah, I get bullied in arena. Like, my arena games are trash at the minute. I'm really not playing great. It's because I'm not really paying attention to what's going on. Like, come on, he was 100% dead there. Now this is the defensive peeling I deserve. Oof. Oh, this is going to end miserably for me. That's how you one-shot with Tevent, when they allow you to. Damn. Where do we have? Jabba Jabba. Go on, do it. Nice try. Should have known that was coming. Is evasion I don't think evasion's naturally stronger. It's a preference to whether you want to thin damage out or whether you want to ignore damage. Or have a chance to ignore damage. I've always felt evasion to be stronger. This guy just wants to try and hunt me, and it's not going to end well for him. Oh, he delayed his stun. As an endurance, SNS great sword defense feels big difference when trying to fight melee evasion versus. I think endurance for tanks is very good for thinning damage out. But yeah, I think endurance has its place against lots of damage. I think endurance is strong against lots of damage. And with a healer, yeah, I definitely feel if you've got dedicated healing, I think endurance is probably the stronger play. How much does this sell for now? Yeah, it's always the play. Just think I was put the sleep damage buff for testing today, and it doesn't seem to increase the damage either way. Probably removed it. It sounds about right. So it used to be. Is it actually? That's a good point. Is it in the text? Is it on this one? On the damage shows the time from the user by 5% for every one of the users touch of the spare. Is that one? No, it's not that single target. Yeah, I know what I think I know what you mean about the 2 damage from sleep was the old sleep one. Ah, then yeah, they've forgotten to take it away. That was the nerf that we got. That was the big nerf that we got, and that was before it turned into double 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 proc. I've never actually noticed that it's not been taken from there. I think Cammy. Did you know it had been taken from there, Cammy? Did you know it was still on there? Sorry, on the actual thing. It had it in the description. I didn't know. I didn't ever read the debuff to know it was on the debuff still. Have we got portals to? Do you know? Oh, we don't need portals. It's fucking raining. Oh, Discord. I bet it's fucking loud. It's been loud all day. That's why I'm sat in the streaming room. Did you know that it said it's still on the debuff on a target? I hadn't clicked that it was there still. Still says the 100% damage. It's a shame. That last 10% needed to get a kill is a consistent thing you will feel. That's why Stigma's in my build, and it's still not enough. That is exactly what you're feeling. What wand am I using? This bad boy. Yeah, I hadn't read it. That's why I wasn't sure, but yeah, it's definitely there. I'm literally only here for the like 0.3% box chance in case I get some pants. That's the only reason I'm here. Otherwise, I'd be playing it as Azale instead. It's still not enough with Tevent Curse, to be fair. Well, I see a lot more kills now than I did because there's a lot of people with a lot of people that I couldn't kill before, barely, that I can now kill consistently. But it's still missing slightly, a little bit. Do you mean if you reapply a curse when they're asleep? Because I've never tested it, and I've never thought to test it, but that's a very good point, actually. If we sleep first into our curses, does it guarantee they're all crits? That could potentially change the way that things are done, but I don't think so. I think it's only attacks that wake the target. Cammy might know more than I do, but that could be interesting to test. I have not. No, it's a bad assumption. Cammy's got better skills than me, I think, at the minute. I went very much the offensive route. However, this is what I've been doing on my day back today, is prepping these ready. So, got a bunch of skills to level up and stuff in a bit. And I've still got dungeons that I need to clear off for tonight. I've still got Abyss I need to farm. But the plan very much is to, in an ideal world, get this to 3.8 very soon. I'll need to replace the boots, but we're dealing with that when the time comes. Because I want harvester boots, and it's just not happening anytime soon. But very much, sleep and karmic are kept where they are, Karmic's going to go to 5, sorry, Sleep's going to be kept roughly where it is for now. And the Karmic is to reduce the cooldown and bring it more in line with Sleep, so it sorts things out a bit. So Karmic's going to go up next. After that, I'm honestly not 100% sure on these. Probably Blessed Barrier. I've been sleeping on Wrathful Edge, and the evasion I've been sleeping on because it's only 60, 30 evasion, so I've been umming and ahhing about bothering with that. But Wrathful Edge needs to go, this needs to go, this needs to go. These 3 passives need to go to 5. Stealth, I just never see the need in leveling at the moment because I'm lazy. I do need to get Shadow Strike up because I'm getting sick of missing binding. Yeah, crit damage affects curses. Having a crit damage modifier is the only way that you can see a crit on a curse. Definitely need to redo the dot damage video that kind of more explicitly states that this or Harvester are the 2 only reasons you will see a crit on a curse. It doesn't help that we don't get the identifiers. We don't get to see them in the same way. Cabby, please sit by chat. That's what we need. This saves a step because you ask me a question, I ask Cabby, I tell you the answer. That's how it goes. Oh shit. Yeah, we gotta find everything out ourselves, to be fair. Where does PvP end? It's bridge. The thing with crit chance is you don't need it a lot, because the only people that are gonna reduce your crit chance are endurance stacked people. And we don't meet very many endurance stacked people that we care about killing quickly. Like, the tanks are endurance stacked, but you don't really give a shit about critting on the tanks. Your wand bows are endurance stacked. We don't really give a shit about critting on them either, because if we're dotting them up, we're fucking ourselves 90% of the time. You've got like your greatsword dagger, your staff dagger, your bow dagger, your staff bow. All of those people, for the most part, will be running evasion, so your crit rate should be perfectly fine. If everybody shifts to evasion, then yeah, there's an argument for more crit. If half the guild you fight are sword and shield, then yeah, that just sucks ass. Just dot them up and run in circles until they fall over. Although these one dagger is one of the builds that has an easier time dealing with them, providing that they don't stop us from getting shit up. This is a Nixx rave party, mate. This is a 37-man Nixx party raving. Hi mom, I'm on TV. Oh, Nixx raid is in, you've all fucking turned up. Could just put you all on voice as well. Make you talk. Oh, Spray fucking linked it, that's why. Now you all get to see the fact that I'm massively behind because I've been away. And Naez is going to pull up the fact that I've still not done the dungeons from the other day properly. Don't tell Boz about my activity ranking. Oh, thanks. Ironically, this is what most of them look like as well in real life. Right, meow. Don't link the OnlyFans. No, Nixx is only for RNG blessed people that get free loot. They turn up to bosses and everyone gives it to them. You know that. That's what happens. Bosses just hand their loot to them. Make sure to like and subscribe, boys. Sacrificed your firstborn child. It's the entry fee to Nixx. That's why we're not in Nixx. We're not allowed. We don't have the RNG. Shinker, if you dislike my stream, I'll show you the dislike. I'll be monetized again tomorrow, thanks to all you guys as well. Thank you. It's appreciated. I think everyone's looking forward to Siege. I think up until Siege and then until Tier 2 it gets very samey. Rude. This is gonna suck. I feel like this is personal. I think it's as fun as you make it. If you got things to keep doing, people to play with, it's worth it. Why is it? Yes, that's exactly what I did. No, dude, as if that just happened. I think for tier 1 it's better than it was, but not for gear in general. My Korean gear is a lot better. I just haven't logged on in a long time. What's best stuff? Did I not get anything from Juno? Huh. It's never gonna happen. See? See? Fucking Nixx. Or Nixx even. Every fucking time. It's recorded now as well. Fucking... This has decayed a ton over the last couple of days. Sucks ass. I think these dungeons are bad. I haven't done my fucking event dungeons since the first day, I don't think. 23 of them. Shit. Nice. Oh, as if you've done that. Now we haven't got the portal for it. Yeah. Meh. So we're gonna wait an hour now for someone to fucking stun it. I know. Thank you. Rip. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I've got no way to survive this either. Rip. It's embarrassing. What do you do here still anyway? The rest of it's fine. Fucking nearly did it again. Hey, hey, hey. It's that canyon again. Sick of canyon. Fucking space. Give pocket healer. build am I using? Which one am I on? Oh, my dungeon build. This one. It's the one that I cleared tower with this week, so there is a video of it on YouTube. Someone leaves. Awesome. Alright, that's me done for the night anyway. I'm gonna finish up this dungeon and then get some sleep. Catch you guys later.